The little boy's voice cracked as he rocked back and forth in the corner booth, hands pressed over his ears, tears streaming down his face. Amara dropped the tray of dishes and ran. She'd seen this before, her cousin's son had the same meltdowns. The child's nanny stood frozen, panic-stricken, while the entire restaurant held its breath. But what made Amara's heart stop wasn't the crying child. It was the man sitting across from him, utterly still, his face a mask of controlled devastation. Tailored black suit. Platinum watch that could buy her life 3 times over. And eyes, dark, dangerous, beautiful, that held a father's helpless rage at not knowing how to save his son. Without thinking, Amara knelt beside the booth. She whispered in Korean, her voice soft and melodic. "It's okay, it's okay." The boy's rocking slowed. She began humming a children's song her language partner had taught her, then sang the words quietly. The child's hands slowly lowered from his ears. The man's eyes snapped to her face with such intensity that Amara felt it like a physical touch. She kept singing, gently, carefully, until the little boy's breathing steadied. When she finally met the man's gaze, something electric passed between them, gratitude, yes, but something darker, hungrier underneath. "How did you?" His voice was velvet over steel, his English perfect but accented. "Korean. Definitely Korean. And definitely powerful. I knew he needed to hear his language," Amara whispered, suddenly aware of how close she was to this man, how his cologne, expensive, woody, intoxicating, filled her senses. "What's your name?" he asked, and it wasn't really a question, it was a command wrapped in silk. "Amara. Amara Thompson. Amara." He said it slowly, like he was tasting it. "I'm Kong Jaiwan. And you just did something no one else has been able to do in 6 months." He paused, his eyes traveling over her face with an intensity that made her skin burn. "I need you. If you're already hooked and want to see where this dangerous attraction leads, don't let the next chapter be a mystery. Subscribe now for more Mafia romance drama and twists that'll wreck you in the best way. It doesn't cost you a single cent to subscribe. Just click that button and you'll get every moment of chaos, passion, and danger. Hit that like button too, and comment below what you think Jaiwan's real business is. Now let's dive deeper. 3 hours later, Amara stood in the lobby of Kong Tower, a gleaming skyscraper in New Seoul's financial district, wondering if she'd lost her mind. Jaiwan had offered her an amount of money that would erase her father's debts entirely, $50,000 for 1 month of work. All she had to do was spend time with his 7-year-old son, Miho, help him feel comfortable, use her Korean to connect with him. It was too good to be true, which meant it probably was. But desperation made people do stupid things. And Amara was very, very desperate. The penthouse elevator opened directly into an apartment that looked like it had been carved from marble and moonlight. Floor-to-ceiling windows revealed the city sprawling below like a jeweled carpet. Minimalist Korean furniture mixed with African art, masks, sculptures, textiles in rich earth tones. The juxtaposition was striking, deliberate. "You appreciate the art." Jaiwan's voice came from behind her, close enough that she could feel the heat of him. Amara turned, finding him inches away, his suit jacket removed, shirt sleeves rolled up to reveal forearms that were far too distracting. "My mother was from Nigeria. She loved collecting pieces like these before she died." Something flickered in his eyes. Sympathy? Calculation? Then we already have something in common. Loss. He moved past her, his hand brushing her lower back for just a second, long enough to send electricity racing up her spine. "My wife died 2 years ago. Miho hasn't spoken to anyone outside the family since. Until you." "I'm so sorry," Amara whispered. "Don't be." It was complicated. The way he said it made Amara think there were volumes of pain behind those words. "Come. Miho is in his playroom." The little boy was exactly as Amara remembered, beautiful, delicate features that mixed Korean and something else. His eyes widened when he saw her, and for the first time, she saw him smile. He exclaimed. "Song's sister." Amara's heart melted. She spent the next 2 hours playing with Miho, singing Korean children's songs, reading him stories, watching his world expand with every word of comfort she offered. And through it all, she felt Jaiwon's eyes on her. Watching. Assessing. Wanting. When Miho finally fell asleep, curled up against her side on the playroom floor, Jaiwon appeared in the doorway with 2 glasses of wine. "You're magic," he said simply. He hasn't been that peaceful in months. Amara carefully extracted herself from Miho and followed Jaiwon to the living room, accepting the wine with shaking hands. The city lights cast shadows across his face, making him look like something carved from darkness itself. "Why me?" she asked. "You could hire anyone. Professional therapists, Korean nannies. I've hired them all. They all failed." He moved closer, and Amara's back hit the cool glass of the window. "You have something they don't. Something authentic. Miho feels it. And so do I. Mr. Kong." "Jaiwon," he corrected, his hand coming up to rest against the window beside her head. Not touching her, but caging her in. "And I think you feel it too. This connection." He was right. God help her, he was right. Every nerve in her body was screaming at her to close the distance, to find out if his lips were as devastating as his eyes promised. "This is a bad idea," she whispered, even as her body swayed toward him. "The worst," he agreed, and then his mouth was on hers. The kiss was electric, consuming, desperate. His hands tangled in her hair, her fingers clutched his shirt, and for one perfect moment, the world condensed to just this, heat and need and the taste of wine on his tongue. When they finally broke apart, both breathing hard, Jaiwon's eyes had gone nearly black. "You start tomorrow," he said, his voice rough. "And Amara? Don't ever think this is just about Miho." She should have run. Should have seen the warning signs. But instead, she nodded, sealing her fate with that single gesture. The first week was a dream wrapped in a nightmare's skin. Amara spent her days with Miho, watching him blossom under her attention, his Korean becoming more confident, his smile more frequent. And her nights belonged to Jaiwon. Dinners that turned into conversations that lasted until dawn. Stolen kisses in hallways, his hands on her waist, her back against walls, both of them fighting the inevitable pull toward complete surrender. But there were things that didn't add up. The bodyguards that appeared whenever she left the building. The hushed phone calls Jaiwon would take in Korean, his face going cold and hard. The way people looked at him with equal parts reverence and terror when they went out. On the 8th day, Amara found the gun. She'd been looking for Miho's favorite stuffed rabbit and opened the wrong drawer in Jaiwon's study. The weapon lay there, matte black and deadly, next to passports with Jaiwon's face and different names. Her hands trembled as she reached for one. "You weren't supposed to see that." Jaiwon's voice was ice. Amara spun around, the passport clutched in her hands. "Who are you? Really?" He moved toward her slowly, like approaching a frightened animal. "I'm exactly who I said I am. Kong Jaiwon. Businessman. Father. And..." He paused, something like regret crossing his face, the head of the Kong family organization. "What you would call, the Korean Mafia." The passport slipped from her fingers. No. No, that's not. It's exactly what you think." He was close now, his voice dropping to a dangerous whisper. "My family controls half the imports in this city. Legitimate and otherwise. And yes, Amara, that makes me a criminal. A very powerful one." "Then why," her voice broke, "why bring me into this? Why Miho?" "Because my son needed you. Because I..." He reached for her face, and she let him, God help her, she let him cup her cheek with those lethal hands. "Because from the moment you sang to my son, I knew I had to have you. In every way. And I'm not a man who denies himself what he wants. This is insane. I should leave." "I should. You should," he agreed. "But you won't. Because you feel this too. This thing between us. And because $50,000 pays off your father's gambling debts to the Choi Syndicate. Yes, Amara. I know everything. The room tilted. How do you? I investigated you. The moment you touched my son, I had my people dig into every corner of your life. The debts. The threats. The reason you learned Korean in the first place, because your father's biggest creditor is Korean, and you thought if you could just talk to them, plead with them. He smiled, but it was sad. You're not in my world by accident, sweetheart. You've been dancing on its edges your whole life. Amara's legs gave out. She sank into the chair behind her, her mind racing. So this was all, what? Some kind of setup? No. Jaiwan knelt before her, taking her hands in his. Miho's connection to you is real. My feelings for you are real. But yes, I saw an opportunity. Pay off your debts, keep you close, protect you from the choice. Everyone wins. Except I'm now owned by a different monster. His jaw tightened. I'm not a monster, Amara. I'm a businessman who operates outside the law. There's a difference. Is there? She pulled her hands away, standing abruptly. I need to think. I need. The penthouse door burst open. A woman strode in, tall and stunning, her afro styled in an elegant updo, her eyes blazing. She spoke rapid Korean to Jaiwan, and whatever she said made his face go pale. English, Zara, he snapped. The woman, Zara, turned to Amara with a smile that was all teeth. So you're the American girl who's got my brother losing his damn mind. How cute. Her English was perfect, her accent a fascinating mix of Korean and something else. African American, maybe? Your brother? Amara looked between them. Half-sister, Jaiwan corrected. Different mothers. Same father, same family business. Zara handles our international relations. Zara laughed, the sound sharp. That's one way to put it. I kill people who cross us, sweetheart. And right now, your presence is about to get a lot of people killed. The choice know you're here. They know Jaiwan's paying your father's debts. And they think it's because you're valuable to us beyond just being a pretty nanny. What does that mean? Amara's voice was barely a whisper. Jaiwan stood, his entire demeanor changing, becoming colder, harder. It means they think you have information. Access. It means you're now a target, and I need to move you somewhere safe until I can negotiate. No. Amara backed toward the door. No, I'm done. I'm leaving. This is insane, I never signed up for. The window exploded. Glass shattered inward as three figures in black rappelled through, weapons drawn. Jaiwan moved faster than should have been possible, shoving Amara behind him as Zara produced a gun from absolutely nowhere and fired. The sound was deafening. One of the attackers went down. Jaiwan had his own weapon out now, his movements precise, deadly, nothing like the gentle father or passionate lover she'd known. This was who he really was. A killer in an expensive suit. Get her out. Jaiwan shouted at Zara, and then the world became chaos. Zara grabbed Amara's arm, dragging her toward a panel in the wall that slid open to reveal a hidden passage. Behind them, Amara could hear gunfire, breaking glass, Miho screaming. She tried to turn back, God, the little boy, but Zara's grip was iron. He's got Miho. He'll protect him. You're the one they actually want, you stupid girl, now run. They ran. Down steel corridors, through hidden doors, out into a parking garage where a black SUV waited with its engine running. Zara shoved her into the back seat and climbed in after her, barking orders in Korean to the driver. As they peeled out, Amara finally found her voice. Why do they want me? I don't know anything. I'm just a waitress who speaks Korean. You really don't get it, do you? Zara turned to her, and for the first time, there was something like pity in her eyes. My brother didn't just investigate you, honey. He orchestrated everything. The restaurant you work at, we own it. You being scheduled that day, at that time, when Miho had his meltdown? Arranged. Your father's debts getting called in right when you were most desperate? We bought them specifically to pressure you. The world stopped. No. That's not, he wouldn't. He would. He did. Jaiwan needed someone Miho would connect with. Someone who spoke Korean, had the right temperament, and was desperate enough to not ask too many questions. So he created you. Found you through our network, studied you for months, and then set the stage for you to save his son. Zara's smile was bitter. The fact that he actually fell for you? That's the only part that wasn't planned. And now it's going to get everyone killed. Don't let this devastating twist be the last thing you see. Subscribe now to find out if love can survive betrayal, if Amara can ever trust Jaiwan again, and whether this dangerous romance ends in blood or redemption. Hit that subscribe button, it's completely free, and smash that like button if this twist just shattered your heart. Drop a comment telling me if you think Jaiwan really loves her or if it's all been manipulation. This story is about to get even more intense. Amara couldn't breathe. Every word from Jaiwan's mouth had been a lie. Every touch calculated. Every kiss a manipulation to keep her compliant, grateful, falling for him so she wouldn't ask the questions that mattered. The safe house was a luxury apartment in the warehouse district, all exposed brick and leather furniture. Zara poured them both whiskey without asking, downing hers in one gulp. How long have you known? Amara asked, her voice hollow. That he was planning this? 6 months. That he was actually falling for you? Zara refilled her glass. About 3 days after you started. I've never seen my brother lose control like that. He was supposed to keep it professional. Instead, he was kissing you in hallways like a teenager and looking at you like you were the answer to questions he didn't even know he was asking. It doesn't matter. None of it was real. That's where you're wrong. Zara sat across from her, her expression serious. Everything Jaiwan did to set this up? That was strategy. Business. Survival. But what happened after you walked into his life? That was real. Inconvenient, dangerous, and completely real. And now the choice think you're his weakness. Which means they'll torture you to hurt him, kill you to destroy him, or use you to leverage a war that'll tear the city apart. Why are you telling me this? Because you deserve to know the truth. And because... Zara hesitated, something vulnerable flickering across her face. Because I know what it's like to be a pawn in this world. To be used. My mother was Korean, my father was the Kong family head, and my existence has been a weapon my whole life. Half Korean, half black, fully belonging nowhere. If I can give you the choice I never had, to walk away with the truth, then maybe that's worth something. Before Amara could respond, Zara's phone rang. She answered in Korean, her face going tight. When she hung up, she looked at Amara with something like respect. Your father. The choice have him. They're offering a trade. You for him. And they're giving us 2 hours to decide. Amara's blood turned to ice. My father? But the debts are paid off. Jaiwan kept his word on that. But the choice don't care about money anymore. They care about power, about sending a message that nobody takes what's theirs, even paid off debts, without consequences. Zara stood, pacing. Jaiwan's mobilizing everything. He's ready to go to war over this. Over you. He can't. People will die. Innocent people. People die in this world all the time, Amara. The question is whether you're willing to let your father be one of them, or whether you're going to be the hero who sacrifices herself. Zara's eyes were hard. Because that's what they're counting on. They know you'll trade yourself. They know Jaiwan will come for you, and when he does, they'll kill you both and start a war that ends with the Kong family destroyed. Then what do I do? Amara's voice broke. How do I save him? Save any of this? You don't. You run. I can get you out of the city, out of the country. New identity, clean break. Your father dies, but you live. Sometimes that's the best we can hope for. Amara stood, her legs shaking but her decision made. No. I won't let my father die because of me. And I won't let Jaiwan start a war because of his guilt. There has to be another way. There isn't. The door burst open. Jaiwan strode in, Miho in his arms, 3 bodyguards flanking him. His eyes found Amara immediately, and the naked relief on his face was so genuine it hurt. Thank God you're safe. Miho's okay. Nobody got through. He stopped when he saw her expression. What did you tell her? Everything, Zara said flatly. She deserved the truth. Jaiwan's face went pale. He gently set Miho down, murmuring something in Korean that sent the little boy running to a bedroom with one of the bodyguards. Then he turned back to Amara, and for the first time since she'd met him, she saw real fear in his eyes. Amara, please. Let me explain. Explain what? That you manipulated my entire life? That you used my desperation, my love for language, my desperate need to save my father as a way to trap me? Her voice rose, years of pain and anger finally breaking free. You made me feel special. You made me believe that for once, someone saw me. Really saw me. And it was all a lie. Not all of it. He moved toward her, stopping when she flinched. God, Amara, not all of it. Yes, I orchestrated our meeting. Yes, I investigated you, manipulated the circumstances. But everything after that first day? Every conversation, every touch, every moment I fell deeper into this impossible thing between us? That was real. That was me losing control of my own plan and falling in love with you. Don't. Tears streamed down her face. Don't you dare say that word to me. Why? Because it's inconvenient? Because it complicates your righteous anger? He closed the distance between them, his hands framing her face, forcing her to look at him. I love you, Amara Thompson. I love your kindness, your strength, the way you sing to my son. I love how you look at art and see your mother's memory. I love how you fight even when you're terrified. And yes, I'm a criminal. Yes, I manipulated you. But I will not apologize for doing whatever it took to bring you into my life. The choice have my father. She said it flatly, watching his face change. They want to trade me for him. 2 hours. Jaiwan's hands dropped. No. Absolutely not. I'll handle the choice. You'll start a war. People will die. And my father will die anyway because that's what they do to pawns like him. Like me. Like everyone who gets caught in your world. She stepped back, her decision crystallizing. Unless I go. Unless I give them what they want and end this before it starts. I won't let you. His voice was steel. I will burn this entire city down before I let them touch you. That's not your choice to make. The hell it isn't. You're mine, Amara. Mine to protect, mine to keep safe. I'm not a thing you can own. She was screaming now, months of fear and desperation pouring out. I'm not Miho's nanny or your salvation or your weakness. I'm a person who's been drowning her whole life, and you used that. You saw someone gasping for air and you offered oxygen with strings attached. Well, I'm cutting the strings. All of them. The silence that followed was devastating. Jaiwan looked like she'd shot him, and maybe she had. Maybe that was kinder than what he'd done to her. Zara cleared her throat. There might be another way. Risky as hell, but... She looked between them. What if we let the choice think they're getting what they want? Set up the trade, but rig it. They think they're getting Amara, we get her father, and when they realize it's a trap, Jaiwan's people are already in position to end this. Permanently. That requires perfect timing and trust, one of the bodyguards said. One wrong move and everyone dies. Everyone might die anyway, Zara shot back. At least this way we control the variables. Jaiwan was staring at Amara, his expression unreadable. Would you trust me? One more time? Even after everything? She wanted to say no, wanted to tell him to go to hell and take his Mafia world with him. But the truth was more complicated. Because despite the lies, despite the manipulation, some part of her still saw the man who'd looked at his crying son with helpless devotion. The man who'd kissed her like she was oxygen. The man who was willing to destroy everything to keep her safe. "I don't trust you," she said finally. "But I trust that you love me, Ho. And I trust that you're a good enough strategist to pull this off. So yes. Tell me the plan." The next hour was a blur of preparation. Amara would wear a wire. She'd meet the choice at the designated location, an abandoned shipping warehouse by the docks. She'd confirm her father was alive, and then Jaiwan's people would move in. Simple. Clean. Absolutely terrifying. "If anything goes wrong," Jaiwan said as they prepared to leave, his hands checking her wire for the third time, "if you even sense danger, you say the word rabbit and my people will extract you immediately. Your father's life isn't worth yours." "To me it is," she said quietly. He gripped her shoulders, his eyes boring into hers. "You came into my life and changed everything. You made my son smile again. You made me feel something other than cold calculation. And I know I don't deserve forgiveness. I know I manipulated you, lied to you, used you. But I swear to you, Amara, I swear on Miho's life, I will get you through this. Both of you. And then..." He swallowed hard. "And then if you want to leave, I'll let you go. I'll give you money, a new identity, whatever you need to start over far away from me and this world. You'll be free. And if I don't want to leave?" Something desperate flashed in his eyes. "Then I'll spend the rest of my life proving I can be the man you deserve. Not the monster who trapped you." There wasn't time to process that. Zara was calling them, the cars were ready, and Amara's father was running out of time. The warehouse was exactly the kind of place people got killed in movies, vast, dark, echoing with the sound of water lapping against pilings. Amara walked in alone, her heart hammering so hard she was sure they could hear it. Her father was tied to a chair in the center of the space, beaten but alive. The relief was overwhelming. "Amara?" His voice was weak. "Baby girl, what are you doing here? You should run." "Touching, really." The voice came from the shadows. A man stepped forward, middle-aged, impeccably dressed, his smile cold. "The prodigal daughter comes to save her worthless father. Kong Jaiwan must be losing his touch if he's using such obvious bait." "I don't know what you mean. I'm just here for my dad. The debts are paid." "The debts are irrelevant." He circled her slowly. "What matters is sending a message. Nobody takes from the Choi family. Not money, not territory, and certainly not people. Your father borrowed from us. That makes him ours. And by extension, you." "I'm not anyone's," Amara said, surprised by how steady her voice was. "No? Then why did you come?" He leaned in close, and she could smell cigarettes and expensive cologne. "Because you're weak. Just like your father. Just like everyone who thinks they can play in our world and walk away clean." This was it, the moment where Jaiwan's people were supposed to move. But the warehouse stayed silent. No doors bursting open. No cavalry. Something was wrong. The Choi boss smiled wider, reading her face. "Did you think we didn't know? Did you think we'd fall for such an obvious trap? Oh, sweetheart. Kong Jaiwan's people are currently dealing with fires at 3 of his warehouses. Literal fires. And his sister? Well, let's just say she's been delayed. Permanently, if my men did their job right." Panic clawed at Amara's throat. "Zara is either dead or wishes she was. Which leaves you here, alone, with no rescue coming. So here's what's going to happen. You're going to call Jaiwan. You're going to tell him that if he wants you and your father alive, he's going to meet me here. Alone. No weapons. No backup. Just him, trading his life for yours. And when he does, we'll finally end the Khan family's reign once and for all. He won't come. He's not that stupid. He will. Because he loves you. And love makes even the smartest men into fools. He handed her a phone. Call him. Now, or I start cutting pieces off your father until you do. Amara's hand shook as she took the phone. She had two choices. Call Jaiwan and watch him walk into a death trap. Or refuse and watch her father die in front of her. Some choice. She dialed. He answered on the first ring. Amara? What's wrong? We're delayed but we're coming. It's a trap. She said it quickly, before anyone could stop her. They knew. They set fires, they have Zara, and they want you. Alone. No weapons. They'll kill us all if you don't come, but Jaiwan, please, don't. The Choi boss ripped the phone away, laughing. So much for cooperation. No matter. He'll come anyway. He has to. It's who he is. He tossed the phone aside. Now we wait. 23 minutes. That's how long it took for Jaiwan to arrive. 23 minutes of Amara listening to her father's labored breathing, watching shadows move in the rafters, praying that somehow this wouldn't end with everyone she'd started to care about dead. When Jaiwan walked through the warehouse door, hands raised, no visible weapons, looking smaller somehow without his armor of bodyguards and power, Amara's heart shattered. He'd come. Knowing it was a trap, knowing he'd probably die. He'd come for her. Let them go, Jaiwan said simply. You have me. That's what you wanted. Eventually, the Choi boss agreed. But first, I think a demonstration is in order. About what happens when people take what's mine. About power. About consequences. He pulled out a gun, pointing it casually at Amara's father. Who should die first? The father who started this? Or the girl who made you weak? Neither. Jaiwan's voice was cold now, calculated. Because this isn't a negotiation. It's a distraction. The shadows in the rafters moved. Not shadows. People. Dozens of them, rappelling down on silent lines, weapons trained on every Choi soldier in the warehouse. Zara dropped directly in front of her supposed captor, very much alive, her gun pressed to his temple. Surprise, she said sweetly. Did you really think we'd fall for your little fire trick? We've been in this business longer than you've been alive. The Choi boss's face went white. This is impossible. We had intelligence. You had what we wanted you to have. Jaiwan moved forward, and now Amara could see it, the controlled predator, the calculated killer. Every move you made, we anticipated. Every trap you set, we turned around. And now you're standing in a building surrounded by my people, having just threatened the two things in this world I'd kill for. He smiled, and it was terrifying. Any last words? Wait. Amara stepped forward, her voice cutting through the tension. Don't. Don't make me watch more death. Don't prove that this world is just violence and revenge and blood. Please. Jaiwan looked at her, and something in his face softened. Amara. I know what he deserves. I know what he'd do to us. But if you kill him here, now, while I'm watching, you prove that everything between us was just one monster using another monster's tactics. You prove that love can't exist in your world. And I need. Her voice broke. I need to believe it can. That you can be more than this. The warehouse was silent. Every eye was on Jaiwan, waiting for his decision. Amara could see the war in his face, the Mafia boss who'd been trained since birth to show no mercy, and the man who'd fallen in love with a waitress who sang Korean lullabies. Finally, he lowered his weapon. Take him. All of them. Lock them in the containers at the port. The police will get an anonymous tip in 2 hours about a major smuggling operation. By the time they're processed, they'll have bigger problems than us. The Choi boss was dragged away, screaming threats that faded into the distance. Amara ran to her father, cutting his bonds with a knife Zara provided. He collapsed into her arms, sobbing. "I'm sorry, baby girl. I'm so sorry for all of this. For the debts, for the danger. It's okay, Dad. It's over. It's finally over." But when she looked up, Jaiwan was gone. She found him outside, standing at the edge of the pier, staring at the water. The dawn was breaking, painting the sky in shades of orange and pink that seemed wrong for how dark the night had been. "You were right," he said without turning around. "I am a monster. I manipulated you, put you in danger, almost got you killed. What kind of man does that to someone he loves?" Amara moved beside him, close enough to touch but not touching. "A complicated one. A damaged one. Maybe even a redeemable one. You should take my offer. The money, the new identity. Get far away from me and this world and never look back. Is that what you want?" "What I want is irrelevant. What's safe for you?" "Jaiwan." She grabbed his hand, forcing him to look at her. "You don't get to make that choice for me. Not anymore. You manipulated me into your life, but I'm choosing whether to stay. And I need you to hear this, what you did was wrong. The lies, the manipulation, using my desperation. That was unforgivable. But..." She swallowed hard. "But the way you love your son. The way you looked at me like I was the answer to every question. The way you were willing to die tonight rather than let me be hurt. Those things were real. And maybe that's enough to start building something true. You're not making sense. How can you forgive?" "I'm not forgiving you. Not yet. Maybe not ever completely. But I'm choosing to see who you could be. Who you want to be. And I'm giving you a chance, one chance, to prove that monsters can learn to be men." She moved closer, her hand on his chest, feeling his heart race beneath her palm. "But no more lies. No more manipulation. If I stay, it's as your equal. Not your prisoner, not your guilt project. Your partner." Jaiwan's hands came up to frame her face, his touch gentle despite the calluses, despite the blood he'd spilled. "I don't deserve you. Probably not, but I don't deserve to be lied to. I don't deserve to live in fear, and I don't deserve a father who gambles away our futures. Life isn't about deserving. It's about choosing. So choose, Jaiwan. Do you want me as I am, difficult, angry, traumatized, and choosing you anyway? Or do you want to keep punishing yourself?" His answer was a kiss. Soft at first, then deeper, tasting like relief and desperation and promise. When they finally broke apart, the sun had fully risen, washing away the night's shadows. "I choose you," he whispered against her lips. "Every day. In every way, and I swear, Amara, I will spend the rest of my life earning the trust one broke." "Then start now. Tell me everything. Your family, your business, the parts you think will scare me away. If we're doing this, I need the truth. All of it." And there, on the pier where his world and hers had collided, he did. He told her about his father's legacy, about the family business built on violence and loyalty in equal measure. About his wife's death, not an accident but a hit from a rival family that had started a war. About Miho's autism and the guilt Jaiwan carried that his son had witnessed his mother's murder. About Zara, his half-sister who was the family's weapon and his closest confidant. About the empire he'd built and the blood it was soaked in. And when he was done, Amara didn't run. She stood there, hand in his, and chose him anyway. 3 months later, Amara sat in Jaiwan's penthouse, watching Miho play with his toys while speaking in full Korean sentences, his confidence growing every day. Her father was in rehab, finally addressing the gambling addiction that had controlled his life. Zara had become an unlikely friend, teaching Amara the ins and outs of the family business, the legitimate parts, at least. And Jaiwan was learning how to be a man who loved someone more than he loved control. It wasn't perfect. There were arguments, setbacks, moments when his instinct to manipulate clashed with his promise to be honest. But they were building something real from the ashes of manipulation and lies. The doorbell rang. Amara answered it to find a delivery person with an enormous bouquet of flowers and a note in Korean. She read it slowly, her language skills much improved after months of immersion, and laughed. "What does it say?" Jaiwan asked, coming up behind her, wrapping his arms around her waist. "It says, to the woman who taught my son to sing, my heart to feel, and this monster to be human, thank you for choosing me." She turned in his arms, her smile soft. "I love you too." Miho ran over, tugging at Amara's skirt. He said excitedly. "Song mama." Amara's heart squeezed. She looked at Jaiwan, seeing the question in his eyes. They hadn't talked about this, about what her role in Miho's life would become, about where this relationship was heading. "Only if you want," Jaiwan started. "Yes," she interrupted, kneeling to hug Miho close. "Yes, I want. All of it. You, him, this complicated, dangerous, beautiful life. I choose all of it." And as Jaiwan knelt beside them, wrapping both of them in his arms, Amara realized that sometimes the most unexpected paths lead to the truest destinations. She'd walked into a restaurant thinking she'd serve Korean food. Instead, she'd found a family, a love, and a life she never imagined. Built on lies, yes. But rebuilt on truth, trust, and the impossible choice to love someone despite, and because of, all their broken pieces. After all, she'd been drowning. And he'd taught her to swim in waters darker than she'd ever imagined. Together, they were learning that even monsters could find redemption. And even the manipulated could choose to stay and build something worth keeping. If you made it to the end of this emotional roller coaster, thank you for watching. Subscribe so you never miss the next heart-wrenching, tension-filled story of impossible love. It costs you absolutely nothing to click that button, and it means everything to me. Hit that like button if this story wrecked you in the best way, and drop a comment below. Let me know where you're watching this from in the comments below.